Hi, everyone. It's Tessa.
And Joe.
From the Unveiling Paradise podcast.
Tessa, summer is almost here, and so many of our listeners are about to have their epic destination wedding.
And we are so excited for you guys.
Before the big day, guys, we want you to make sure you listen to these 3 episodes.
Episode 62, Deep Diving Your Wedding Ceremony.
Episode 53, Questions Your Wedding Guests Will Ask.
And episode 31, the final countdown to your wedding day.
And if you're planning your wedding here in Hawaii, hit us up and ask us about our Unveiling Paradise podcast promo.
Happy planning.
Hello to all of our listeners. Hello, Tessa.
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Hey, good. Okay, we have a very fun episode today, and we are talking about wedding traditions.
Yes.
Okay, and so we're talking about where some of these traditions came from, how we've kind of modernized them over time, and whether we should keep them or leave them at the altar.
That's funny.
And so I'm kind of in this mood today where I'm like, let's slash and burn some of these traditions.
What? No. Traditions are meant to be kept, I think.
Let's talk about these traditions. What are we talking about today?
We have so many traditions that we want to talk about, right? They're at every wedding, but why do we do them? And I think that's really important, and that's what we want to cover today.
Yay. All right, let's get started.
Let's do it. Welcome to Unveiling Paradise, your go-to destination wedding podcast. I'm Tessa, wedding planner and owner of Fred and Kate Events.
And I'm Joe, wedding and adventure photographer of Joseph Esser Photography. We are based in Hawaii, one of the biggest, most popular locations for destination weddings.
We want to share our real-life experiences with you, give you insight from a professional's perspective, and still make sure you're having fun in the process.
We're huge believers in the fact that planning a destination wedding can be one of the most amazing experiences, and we want to bring you along.
We're so excited to talk with you about weddings, Hawaii, and everything else under the sun.
So pack your bags and let's get started.
So today, I want to talk about traditions, Joe.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, 10 traditions that are typically at weddings, why we do them, what it looks like, when it's more modern, and whether we should keep or ditch. As always, I want to make this a competition.
All right.
So what I want to do is I want to vote. I guess it's not really, I guess maybe. In my head, there's a right or wrong answer. So will you get the same answer as me or not?
Well, I almost think that some of these traditions are already dying. So I think...
Do you?
I think I think some traditions are dying, or they're being revamped or being recreated in new ways. So
right.
We may already agree that these are dead traditions.
I hope we don't agree on any. I'm joking, but I do think I agree with you. There are definitely, of the 10 traditions, I think there's some that are still very, very popular, and others that might be on their way out the door, but modernized in a really, really cool, fun way. So I definitely want to talk about all of them.
Okay, so tradition number 1, not seeing each other before the ceremony. I think we talked about this on another episode.
We had a whole episode about first looks,
Right.
And so I definitely feel like this is a huge one.
Right. Okay, and we just a quick little recap. That tradition comes from back in the day when we used to do arranged marriages, and you had never seen the person you were going to be married until you were actually at the altar. So nowadays, I think there's less of a value of that superstition. You're going to ruin your marriage if you see each other before. Do you think a lot of people are ditching that tradition? And
I think so, and I think they're ditching it, or if they do wait to see the ceremony, it's not for superstition of bad luck. It's more so just that emotional, dramatic effect.
Yes.
Right? And so I think the tradition of not seeing each other due to bad luck or due to it being an arranged marriage is pretty much gone. It's just the feel of seeing that person that you're going to marry as you walk down the aisle.
In front of everybody for the first time.
Exactly.
That big moment. Yeah,
yes,
got it. Okay,
for sure.
Since we already talked about this, what do you think? Should we keep it or ditch it?
I vote ditch. I love first looks. I think, if you guys listened to our previous episode, we talked about so many ways that you can do it, and it's just as impactful. And as we know from Joe crying at the first look and at his ceremony, it's equally as impactful. It doesn't take away anything.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. I like to ditch this, as a tradition completely.
Unanimous ditch.
I think so, and I don't think you need to feel bad if you see each other beforehand. Just make sure that it's a big moment. Make sure that you see each other and it's something that you're not going to forget.
For sure.
All right.
Okay, so I get to talk about tradition number 2, and that is the bride must wear a white wedding dress on her wedding day.
Right. That is a very embedded tradition, right? White dresses equal wedding day, right?
Right. And do you know where it came from?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a slight history lesson. I know you're the professor, but I'm going to give you some history today. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so basically in 1840, Queen Victoria was one of the first women to wear a white lace and silk satin gown. Before that, wedding dresses were normally red.
What?
Yeah.
Red.
I don't know why.
Why?
Honestly, I didn't do that much research, but it used to be red.
Can you imagine that would just be such a different experience?
But how cool is that?
Yeah, it's super cool.
I don't know if you remember, but when John Legend and Chrissy Teigen got married, she ended up wearing a red dress for her wedding reception.
Yeah.
And it was stunning.
Yeah.
She looked amazing.
Interesting.
So basically, Queen Victoria wore this white dress, and then what happened is she kind of became a fashion icon. So all of these different magazines or books or, whatever was back in the 1800s started saying white is the color of purity and innocence. All wedding dresses should be white. It just makes sense. So she kind of started this trend. And then white wedding dresses basically then became the norm.
Okay. All right. This is such a kind of ingrained tradition, right? When you go into a wedding dress shop, you only see white gowns for the most part.
No, they're all white.
Or maybe like some off-whites occasionally, right? But
I mean like a cream or ivory,
yeah,
but
nothing.
Not pink.
Right. So, do we ditch this tradition? Could you ditch it? And actually, I guess the bigger question is, are other people ditching it? Are we seeing weddings where, the bride is not in white?
Right. So have you done any weddings where your couples have not been in white wedding dresses?
Yes. And okay, just personally, I think it looks weird.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So I had this bride who had this like kind of Scottish, like plaid looking dress. It was like green and orange, and it looks so weird to me.
I think that'd be so amazing.
I don't know. It didn't feel like a wedding.
Was she Scottish?
I have no idea.
Because I feel like if it fits your culture and your tradition,
sure,
then why wouldn't you? But if she was not Scottish and wearing a Scottish dress, maybe that would be odd.
I don't think that's the tradition in Scotland either. Though. You know what I mean? I think she was just trying to be unique or whatever. But, I think we've talked about this. We are seeing a bunch of celebrity weddings where they are breaking these traditions. We're seeing, you were showing me an example of Sophia Bush, right?
I'm obsessed with her dress.
Yeah.
Obsessed. I love it so much.
Okay, you describe it.
Right? I was like, I want to talk about her dress. So it basically was this gorgeous, if you just kind of break it down to what it is, it was a regular, wedding dress. It was kind of fitted top, big bottom, puff sleeves, which are totally in right now.
Yeah.
But what she did is she talked to her designer, which was Monique Lullier, and she said, I wanted to...
Can you spell that?
Yeah, not for you. And she basically had 3 different flowers from her home state, his home state, and then I forgot where else. And they incorporated bees and beehives, but it was just stunning. Like, I could not stop looking at her dress. And what's really cool is I had a bride earlier this year who had a very similar dress.
Interesting.
And it's gorgeous. It's still a white base, but it's got these really, really pretty, delicate flowers all over it.
Do you think that she could wear a black garbage bag and she would still look bridally?
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. But, the dress, and that dress was just stunning. And I don't know if you remember, so when Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt got married, and granted they're divorced now, on her wedding dress, she had embroidered the drawings from her 6 kids.
Okay.
On the back of her dress and on her veil. And I thought it was so touching and so gorgeous, especially because she already had kids, right? And it was a symbol to them as a family as a whole.
Yeah.
Do you
like that? I like it. Okay, let's take a vote. Keep this tradition or modernize this tradition, move on. Maybe not be stuck in the tradition anymore.
Well, it's a keep or ditch.
Keep or ditch?
Ditch.
Okay. I say keep. If we have to go back to red wedding gowns with Queen Victoria, I have to say I look really horrible in red.
I'm sorry. Are you the bride?
Well, no, but not everybody's skin tone. Some people have cooler skin tones or warmer skin tones, and you might look better in blue or red. Like white is just it's always a classic color.
Is it? See, I feel like white is a hard color to wear.
Right.
It makes me look bigger. Like, I'd rather wear red. I'm wearing red today.
Yeah, okay, well, there we go. I say keep, you say ditch. All right, let's move on. All right. Ooh, this is a good one, Tessa. The wedding ring tradition, right? So having wedding rings.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about this. So the wedding ring, right? We always hear about this, the symbol of eternity, right? Like the ring embodies like no beginning and no end. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we hear it all the time. Every officiant talks about the ring as a symbol of eternity, of eternal love.
Do you have any idea where this tradition comes from?
So I did a little research. Yep. There were a lot of different origins, but what I gathered, which I think is really cool, again, history lesson for you, is the Romans gave women a ring as a symbol of ownership. So basically,
they're trying to own them? Or?
Yeah, well, not the ring, own the woman.
Oh gosh, okay. That's
so again,
right.
It was almost like a tag, right? Like a putting my name on you, like you're mine.
Right.
So it was ownership, and it symbolized strength and permanence.
I feel like it still kind of is like you put a ring on that, right? You know, and it's like
it's true.
If you see somebody wearing a ring, you're like, okay, don't talk to them; they're already taken.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Roman men wore wedding rings, if they were owned by their women. I
don't think they did.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they were out fighting and doing battle and all of those things. So maybe it would have been dangerous.
Yeah.
To wear those rings.
I kind of feel like that tradition is sort of misogynistic. It's become a symbol that you're in a committed relationship with somebody, right?
Right.
It's changed over time.
Definitely. And so I think it's the tradition has kind of shifted to why you wear the ring, but it's also the where you wear the ring. Traditionally, right, you wear your ring on your left hand on the ring finger, which is the one closest to your pinky. And it was said that there is a vein that goes straight to the heart.
Okay.
And that's why people wore it, so it'd be closest to your heart.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, what I've heard is, again, just did some internet research, link in show notes, but that's false.
That's false.
That's
okay,
false. So there's no vein that goes straight to your heart. So I don't know why. I know a lot of people wear it on the right hand, your thumb, wherever. So there's no connection directly to your heart with your ring finger.
That is going to break some people's hearts. They've been thinking that's actually true for the longest. I thought it was true. So let's talk about some modern ways that people can show that they're married and maybe ditching the ring. So,
right.
I mean, here in Hawaii, really simple. A lot of girls will wear flowers in their ear. If you wear it on your right, you are single.
Right.
And if you wear it on your left, you're married.
Right.
Could we switch it out for flowers?
Or taken, right? It's not that you're married. It's just you're in a relationship.
Right. Which is it's kind of what when you wear a wedding ring, it sort of symbolizes.
Yeah.
It means that you're taken.
Yes.
Right.
For sure. Joe,
you're off the market.
Yep. It's true. Joe, you wear a wedding ring, right?
I do wear my wedding ring when I can, but I actually don't wear it when I go to the gym, when I go out surfing. It's too much for me to worry about. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to damage it. So, in those situations, but if I'm at an event, if I'm on a date night, of course, I always wear my ring.
Because you get hit on all the time. You got to fend off the women.
Yeah, right.
But so my husband doesn't wear a wedding ring.
Okay.
And he never has. And the reason is he's an aircraft mechanic. And so for safety reasons, they actually tell them not to wear jewelry.
Sure.
Right? Because when they're working on things, you don't want their fingers to fall off. It's happened before.
But don't they have those new kind of rubber band rings?
Yeah, so they do. They have those plastic ones, so when you're working out, so you could technically have one yourself. And
no excuses.
So could my husband.
Yeah.
But again, I think it kind of comes down to, right, is this a dated tradition? I personally don't care if my husband wears a ring or not. I wear my ring. Sometimes I forget it, but it's not like I have to run home and get it.
Your husband already knows that you own him as well.
Yeah, right? We've been together long enough.
That's my man.
Right? So I don't feel like wearing a ring or whether he wears a ring or not is a big deal to me. I know it's a big deal to other couples.
Uh-huh.
So I guess let's vote. What do you think?
Okay, so keep or ditch. Man, that's a good one. I'm going to vote to keep. And the reason why is I kind of like people to know that I'm married and that it's something that I'm proud of, and it's something
right.
that I'm it's a commitment that I've made, and I like it.
That's adorable. I love that. You're so funny. I love it. I vote to ditch.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know that's not surprising, and again, for me, I feel like with my husband and I, right? He doesn't wear a ring. It to me does not affect our relationship. It doesn't affect how he feels about me, and vice versa.
What about all the other ladies that are,
I'm sure he's swatting them off constantly, but I have to just trust that he's doing that without a ring.
Right.
Let's be honest, though. Sometimes when people wear a ring, that doesn't stop people from hitting on them. So, I don't know. I feel like it's another piece of jewelry that, it's nice to have, and if you have it, great, and if you want to wear it, more power to you. But I vote ditch.
All right. Okay, there we have it. Okay, we are not in agreement. All right.
Yay.
Surprise, surprise.
I know.
All right, let's move on to the fourth wedding tradition, the wedding cake. This is going to be a good one. I already know where you're at, but let's talk about the wedding cake. All right, so you are our historian today. Fill us in on what you found out about the wedding cake. What's the tradition?
So obviously, it doesn't matter what the tradition is. I'm going to vote for keep. But we can go back and I can talk about it. So basically, right, back in Roman times, wheat represented fertility. And so they used to have
wheat,
like the grain.
Like gluten,
yeah. And so they used to have bread or hard scones. And then as kind of things progressed, then it became cake.
Okay.
Right? And so that's kind of how they incorporated it. And the couple would basically eat some of this cake or bread. And again, it's not like a light, fluffy cake like we know now. It's dense and hard and blah.
Right.
There's no yeast. It was just wheat. So basically, right, the couple would eat a little bit of the cake or the scone or bread, whatever it was. And it wasn't soft, fluffy like it is now. It was very dense.
Sounds nasty.
I know, but that was their first act as a married couple.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the tradition of the wedding cake. And then it became more popular and the bread got better, the cake got better. They threw some frosting on it, so just all the good stuff. They started stacking it. The modern take, right, is obviously now you have this really fancy tiered wedding cake. The couple feeds each other. And then more traditionally, right, you have that smashing the cake in people's faces.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Oh, well, we always have to keep that. Okay, so actually I heard a little bit different of a history about the wedding cake. I had heard that, like, back in the 1800s, like, think of like England, right? It was like, this was like the one splurge item that couples would do to celebrate their wedding was a cake, because cakes were expensive and, sugar and all these things were expensive. So it was sort of symbolizing that, they were going to celebrate together. It was something simple, but that could be different. I don't know if that's actually
true. I think that could kind of fall into the progression of all of this, right? Yeah. So from wheat to weird scone things and bread to cake. And then again, they got fancier and fancier.
Right. We're talking about cake, whether to keep the cake. But before we get into that, we're also talking about the cake smash.
Right. Well, again,
keep or ditch.
It was feeding each other cake nicely, and then it became this very awkward smash.
Right.
For entertainment purposes. Right. So I would say let's start there. Like, keep or ditch the smashing cake in the face. So, okay, this is my thought on that. Like, I am very much against the cake smash for multiple reasons. With that said, I find, and we were just talking about this earlier today, right? Is a lot of times couples were meant for each other. So if they both are into like the cake smash thing, like there's nothing wrong with it if they are both down. But if a bride is like, don't smash my face, I have makeup, and the guy does it, then yes. Then I feel like that is a disaster. But there are some couples where I'm like, yeah, you're going to smash the cake. And they're both going to have a great time. It's going to be super funny. Did you smash cake in Jackie's
Heck
face?
no, no way. No way. I would never do that. That'd be suicide. Okay, let's keep back on track.
Okay, so cake smash, vote.
Ditch. Okay.
100%.
Cake.
Keep.
Ditch.
Shut up.
It's just so, like, I've said this before, but cakes are always so nasty for the most part.
You're so nasty.
No, I mean, like, you bake them like 3 weeks before the wedding.
You're the worst.
And I mean, think about it. It comes from back in the Roman era when like these nasty scones, they just kept that tradition going.
Quick twist. What if instead of a cake, you do like little mini, like cupcakes or mini desserts?
Nah, whatever.
What?
I never eat cupcakes. Come on.
I've literally seen you stuff cupcakes in your mouth here. So.
All right, okay. Well, we are on separate pages on this, but that's okay. It's all right.
Yep.
All right, let's move into our fifth tradition, the bouquet or garter toss.
Got it.
Keep it or ditch it. So do you have a history on this one?
Ditch it. Okay. There's a quick history. So it's really interesting. I was looking this up, and it goes back to like the 1300s. People were super superstitious about everything. And they believed that it was good luck to take a piece of the bride's clothing.
Wow.
So as the bride, after the couple got married, people would start to rip pieces of the dress off the bride.
Actually, I've heard that before.
Have you?
Yeah, I actually have.
Oh my gosh. It's the first time. I was like, what, is she naked by the end? Like, what?
And maybe it was in some sort of weird Netflix show that I was watching.
Because what if you have like 300 people? Like, so people would start ripping off pieces of her dress, which is not cool, right? And so the garter and the bouquet toss kind of became a two-part where they would throw the garter as part of like, just kind of to appease the crowd, just to say part of her clothes, right? The garter, because she was wearing it. And then what they would do is they would throw the bouquet as a distraction while they could exit out.
Interesting. So
with
you
a small
throw it
piece
at
of their sanity.
Would you throw the bouquet at like the biggest
You just gotta
auntie
throw
in
it
the
in the crowd and run, right? Just throw it and run.
Run for your life.
So that's kind of how it started.
Right.
Right?
That makes
Obviously,
sense.
now it's kind of evolved, right? Where it becomes this piece of your reception where the bouquet is customarily thrown to all of the single women
Right.
for who is the next one to get married.
Sure.
And then the garter is taken off of the bride's leg in the middle of the dance floor with all your family and friends watching you.
Which can be really awkward. Let's be honest.
Oh man, it can be. And then taken off and then tossed to all the single men with the garter that's been on your leg the whole day.
Right. So, and then the thought is if you catch it, you're the next one up to get married.
Correct.
And then Tessa gives your business card out.
Yeah, I attach it to the garter.
And let's talk about some of the modern ways that this is evolving, right? So if we're going to talk about keep the tradition or, like maybe move into something new, what do you see?
I've seen a ton of different ways. So, so I've seen the bouquet being tossed to the married women instead. Or what's cool is I've seen it tossed to the married men so they can present it to their wives. Or I've seen, people attach like $100 bill to the garter so they can grab that. What have you seen?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. I mean, the bouquet thrown to like the men so they can give it to their wives. I've seen that a lot.
Right.
And sometimes you see like the bouquet being presented to maybe the mother of the bride or someone.
I love that. And you know what I always like to do, or what I tell my couples is, as the bride, like present it to your future mother-in-law.
That's a good
It's
move.
a really nice gift, Right. I love it. And they're always caught off guard. It's always super sweet. There's a lot of, it's really sweet.
Yeah. Okay, let's vote on this. The bouquet and garter toss. Keep it or ditch it?
Ditch.
Ditch. And why?
It's cringy.
Sometimes it can
Right?
be. Yeah.
It can be cringy. Well, especially like I got married, not old, like 30 or so, but I would swear I was the only single one of my friends.
Right,
so
right,
it'd be
right.
tossed to just me. Like, it's awkward.
Right. I'm going to say middle.
What?
I think you should. I think this is a fun tradition. If you have a ton of people at your wedding that are single and are excited, but if they're not, like, don't do it. If you have like 3 single people, it's super awkward.
Right.
And you can do a ton of other things. So I'd say know your crowd.
So the next tradition that I want to talk about is tossing rice at the couple after the ceremony.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? And so I think I'm sure you've seen it before, right?
Yeah. Actually, that's really funny. I don't see it that often anymore, though.
Yeah. And do you want to know why?
Why? Tell me.
Okay. So rice, right, just like wheat, is a sign of fertility and prosperity.
Gosh, all of these traditions are about fertility.
It really, I mean, I don't make the history.
I think you might be making this up. It's like, well, actually, this is about fertility.
You're showering. Well, our next podcast will be about, babies, the next step, whatever.
No.
Okay. So basically, the whole thing, right, is you would toss rice and it basically would shower the couple with good wishes, fortune, and prosperity.
Okay, and then it gets in their hair and their eye, and it's like all over the place.
Well, so it's funny. I was reading this website and it's like how to toss it. So you don't beam it at their face.
Okay, so there is like an actual
There
protocol.
is a
on how
way
you
that you want to toss up so it lands on their head lightly versus like hitting their faces.
Right.
So the interesting thing, and this is what I've always believed, is we stopped this whole throwing rice because it would kill birds. Like birds would eat it. It would expand in their stomachs.
That's not true, though?
It's not.
What?
So they did research on it. It's actually, like, throwing rice is actually banned in certain states because of this. But it was proven that birds if you think about birds, they eat literally everything on the ground.
Right.
Right? And so raw rice does not make them sick or doesn't kill them.
Man, that is like such an interesting thing, something new that I've learned today. This is amazing.
Isn't it crazy?
Well, okay, so let me just add in that I actually see other things happening more than throwing rice. I see like a lot of like flower showers where it'll be like loose flower petals that will be thrown up, or bubbles, and what else do you see?
So I love the bubbles because for me they're easy cleanup, right? So I love the bubbles. I've also seen dried flowers.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of the dehydrated dry flowers you can order online. So you can toss those. I've seen people toss bird seed, but then I feel like you're drawing the birds to you.
Yeah.
Right?
All of a sudden all the pigeons are, attack the bride.
They're coming at you. I guess rice could do the same. And then confetti is another one that people always love to do. It is the bane of my existence.
Yeah, it's so messy. It's so messy.
Impossible to clean. Like, you will not get every piece of confetti, no
Super
matter
cool
what.
for photos, though. I think it looks really cool for photos.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
very
a mess.
cool, but it's just the cleanup. The one thing that I want to make sure that you guys do, whether you do a flower toss, whether you do bubbles, whether you do rice, birdseed, check with your venue.
Confetti cannons.
Confetti cannons are going to be a hard no, almost guaranteed.
Yep.
And the reason why I say this, right? A lot of my couples will say, hey, I ordered these silk flowers so we can toss it at the end. If you're at an outdoor venue, a lot of times they will not let you do it. And vice versa, if you're indoors, a lot of times they don't let you do real red rose petals because they will stain the marble floors.
Interesting, yeah.
So it's just double check with your venue. That's all.
Good pro tip. And actually, I would also say clean up after yourself, too. If you have a big confetti cannon, like make sure you have set up.
Someone's got to clean it up.
Yeah.
Joe, the tradition, keep or ditch. Are we tossing rice at the ceremony?
Keep it or ditch it. I think we have already ditched it. I think it's been ditched.
It's been ditched.
Yeah.
Okay, twist. Keep or ditch the flower shower.
I like the flower shower,
You
as
do?
long as you cleaned it up. Tessa, where are you at?
Ditch.
Ditch, okay.
You know, I have to clean it up. It's always me. I like the bubbles.
Okay, bubbles.
They look really, do you like the bubbles?
Yeah, they're cool for photos.
They look so pretty, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Tessa. Tradition number 7. This is a weird one to me. I don't even
What?
understand it. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Okay, first off, do you have any idea where that tradition comes from and what it means? And don't tell me it's about fertility.
Okay, well, first of all, it's about fertility.
Of course.
I'm joking. It's not. I actually don't really know where it came from, but I know what it represents. And so it says it represents a happy marriage, a new union, a special token of love, and fidelity.
Fidelity. Okay, so it's not fertility,
Yeah,
but fidelity.
but-
So all of those 4 different parts represent 4 different
Right.
things. Okay.
But do you know there's a 5th part?
No.
So it's something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, and a silver sixpence in her shoe.
Oh my gosh, the silver sixpence, which is like, I guess it's like a penny. but
Yeah.
it's-
So have you seen
but
that
it's
before?
silver? Yeah, I have, and I've seen like not that often. I really don't see that very often, but sometimes like our bride will be taping.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like,
tape it to your shoe.
Yeah, tape it to like the bottom of their shoe or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So
it
you've
falls
seen
off, and their luck is forever gone.
No. But it's for the penny though. The sixpence is for good fortune.
Yeah.
So if it falls off, it's not bad luck. It's just less fortune. A sixpence less. No big deal.
Right. Okay, so I feel like there's so much going on in your wedding day that you add in, these 5 little checks, something borrowed, something blue. It's like, come on, it's too much.
Right.
You just put your makeup on.
Well, and the thing about it is I think it can really stress people out. They spend
Right.
a lot of time thinking about it. I have a few blue items in my kit that I have just in case people need it. So I have new things. I have something we can borrow. So I try to keep everything with me that if this is important to them, I might just take one of these.
Do you have a sixpence?
I don't have a sixpence.
Dang it, you better get that in your
I
kit.
know. I should.
And where do you go? Can you get the sixpence at your local bank?
I know. I'll walk into the bank. I'd like 10 sixpence, please.
No.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Do you think that this is a tradition that we should keep or ditch?
I think you've already heard. I'm definitely ditching this one.
Yeah. I'm a ditch. I'm a ditch too.
Hey, we're on the same page.
Why create more work for yourself on your wedding day? You brought up a really good point. There's a lot going on, and so focus on what's important.
I don't think it's that important either.
Well, if it is, then do it. But if not, ditch.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Same page.
Same page. Okay.
This is a tradition that I love, and it is having a champagne toast during your speeches.
Ooh, okay. So
Yeah.
that is a tradition.
Are you interested in the history lesson?
I was just going to ask you, like, what's the context of this?
Sure. So, back in old times, I don't know when, they would offer a libation of wine in prayer to the gods in request for good health. So this is in
And
general.
fertility.
And fertility, obviously. So this is just a general, it wasn't like at weddings. It was just at any point when they wanted to have good health, they would offer wine. to
Don't
the
you
gods.
think that, like, every culture has some sort of, toast that
Yeah.
they do at, basically all major life events?
For sure, right? And why wouldn't you? And so basically, this is a toast of celebration. It's offering words of praise, goodwill to the couple, and champagne is used, I think, in more modern time, right, just to elevate, right? Just champagne's a little fancier.
It is bougie.
It is super bougie, and I love it. So basically, right, traditionally, people use champagne for toasts. Modern now, it's kind of, to save money. Also, people don't drink champagne. It's drink with whatever you have in hand. So a lot of times, if you're at a wedding, the MC will often say, hey, we're going to be doing toast, like refresh your drinks.
Interesting. So actually, you are talking about a tradition of actually serving champagne
Correct.
or the modern version would be just drink whatever you have.
Toast with what you have, right? Yeah. So if you are a bourbon drinker, do an old fashioned, right? For me, if I'm champagne, then I will fill up champagne again.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, this is actually really interesting. Do we keep or ditch this? What do you think?
I like champagne a lot. I am okay ditching the champagne and modernizing. And what I mean by that is I am fine drinking with whatever you have on hand because it saves money. And again, for me, not everyone is a champagne drinker. You are wasting a lot of money if people don't drink the champagne.
Right. And if you're spending a lot of money on some really nice bottles of champagne and people are like, I'd rather have,
You're wasting
water.
all that money.
Yep.
Water? What?
I think that's another thing. You're not supposed to toast with water unless you're like a kid or in rehab.
You have to toast with alcohol. Right?
But
I've seen, so in like Japanese culture, they do like a sake pour.
Have you seen couples taking shots, like the whole, like everyone takes a group shot together?
Right. So again, it's the vibe of your wedding. So if you're going for like a party, a rave, whatever, instead of doing a champagne pour, I've seen couples pour like a shot. And that's kind of their signature shot. That's what they always drink whenever they go out. And they do that as a toast. And it's fun and it fits their personalities.
Okay, I'm going to say, all right, ditch. I think we're on the same page. I think that there's so many other options that I think it works fine.
Right, so ditch, unanimous.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, we have two more. This is actually a really good one. Having a wedding party and having them wearing matching outfits. Do we keep this tradition or ditch this tradition? I have no idea. Like, is this like just everyone wants to be matchy? Like,
no, okay. So before we vote, I'm going to give you a little history.
Give me the history.
A small breakdown. So basically, everyone used to wear matching colors and outfits to confuse the evil spirits
who are coming to like cause havoc and wreak havoc on your wedding day.
Right. So it's basically to confuse the evil spirits and anyone who came to stop the wedding.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So this is going back to olden times, and this is going to kind of tie into our next point as well, or our next tradition, and we'll talk about that later. But again, it's back in the days, right? When we talked about marriages, when you're saying take a bride, grooms would often literally take a bride. So they would kidnap someone. I'm not joking. I read this.
Where is this happening?
So I think it was kind of all over the world. I don't know. And so basically what would happen is the groom would be marrying the bride, and the bridesmaid, they would have a minimum of 10, all in the same color and same outfits to kind of distract from being able to see which one is the bride.
I think you're making this up.
I'm not making it up. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. It is there. I want you to look at it. It's right here.
Okay. All right.
They were like body doubles, like celebrities.
Yeah. So that's a weird tradition then, if that's where that comes. I just always thought it was like everyone wanted to be matchy and, for photos and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So body doubles.
Body doubles, like celebrities.
I'm happy we live in this era where you don't have to have a body double for your wedding.
But if you think like more modern now, right, you have... Like, for example, the bridesmaids can all wear the same color, but different cuts of dresses.
Ooh, yeah. Okay,
or I've also seen it where it's different dresses and different colors, and it's just kind of more of an ombre.
Yeah, okay. So
I love it.
This is actually really interesting. So we do see this tradition being broken quite a bit, right? So I think back in probably our parents' age, all the bridesmaids would have the exact same dress.
Right.
The same fit, the same color. But is that the tradition anymore?
I think it's still tradition. So I think... the majority of my couples, right, if they have a traditional bridesmaid side, groomsmen side, they're all dressed the same.
Especially the groomsmen.
Yes, for the most part. I do see more often than I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like a lot of them are breaking tradition where different dresses, different colors, mismatch of men and women on both sides, so it's definitely changing, but I wouldn't say yet that the tradition is broken.
Interesting. Okay, let's vote on this, and I want to hear what you say. And do we keep this, ditch this?
Yeah. You go first.
Okay, I'm going to say ditch matchy, right? And I think especially for the women, right? Sometimes if you have the exact same wedding dress for everybody, it's not flattering for all the girls. Like, so different body types, right? You want to find that dress that makes them look the best, right? And I
was going to literally say that. So I have been in, my friends' wedding parties, and so we're a group of 4, and they're all 5 feet tall. Yeah. And so I'm 5'7", and I'm definitely taller and bigger than them. And so whenever we have to wear the same dress, like I stand out like a sore thumb, and they're cute and little and it looks so cute on them. And I'm always the awkward, like big kid in the room.
And I think that that's the thing is like, you want your wedding party to look their best. You don't want them to feel awkward and uncomfortable because they have to be matchy-matchy.
Right. So I agree with you. I vote ditch.
All right. We're actually on the same page on a lot of these. Okay, we have one more tradition. Go for it, Tessa.
Okay, so basically this one goes to, why does the groom stand on the right side of the bride? So this ties into what we were just talking about, right? Back in the days, brides were often kidnapped, right? So take a bride. So
Your story
I'm
so
not
fake.
joking. Look it up.
I know that
so we're walking down the aisle.
Okay, I know that a lot of these traditions, there is like historical fact.
You know I'm right.
I do not know, but I feel like the bride smuggling, bride stealing, I'm going to have to do my own research on this.
Do your research. I'm right. You're going to see it.
Now tell us your fake history.
Okay.
Tell us your fake history.
I'm not a professor like you.
Right.
Okay, so imagine, right? We're walking. The groom is on the right and the bride is on the left. And the reason is he has his bride on his left hand to defend her and protect her.
Or he just stole her.
Or stole her. And he can draw.
Oh, no.
He can draw his sword with his right hand.
No, Tessa, no. I don't believe it.
It's true.
Okay, bride goes on your left arm, sword goes on your right,
Correct.
so you can fight off the bandits.
Correct. And that's why traditionally, that's how when you're standing and looking at the altar, the groom's on the right and the bride's on the left.
I can't wait to read these notes.
This is what happens when you let me go wild on these.
Okay, all right, okay. Is there a modern take on this where it doesn't involve a sword and banditry?
Well, I think the modern thing, right, is like the bride and groom can stand where they want. So a lot of times, right, the bride or the groom has a better side, so they want to switch. And I think that's fine. Or certain venues, if the wind is coming from a different angle and the bride's hair is down, they'll swap. And I think that's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I vote to ditch. I think that's exactly right. Sometimes, the bride and groom do have better sides, or they prefer a certain side. I think that's fine.
Ditch. Agree.
Yeah.
Ditch.
All right. Well, that was super fun. I am very suspicious of some of your history.
I don't blame you. It feels fake, but it's not.
All right. That was fun. Let us know if you want to keep or ditch any of these traditions. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Love it.
All right, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We want to give a shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. And make sure that you guys send us all of your questions. We love getting all your emails. And, we're getting some great questions that we are super excited to answer in upcoming episodes.
We've been getting a ton of questions on Instagram. So just keep sending it that way or email, whatever you want to do. Please listen to us, like, follow, subscribe, whatever it takes. And thanks so much, guys.
All right, we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unveiling Paradise.
If you enjoy our show, please follow us and rate us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would really mean a lot.
And don't forget to also get on our mailing list and follow us on Instagram. Just do it already.
Until next time, this is Tessa.
And this is Joe.
And don't forget, your happily ever after
is just a plane ride away.